Hey traders, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to talk about Tilray, ticker symbol TLRY. After a pretty disappointing day, closing down 7% after announcing on Friday afternoon that the merger with Afria was completed. This may throw off some newer traders not understanding why Tilray would go down so much on such positive news. Merging with Afria to become the largest cannabis company in the world as far as revenue goes. So we're going to break that down. Then we're going to take a look at the chart and figure out what we can expect next. So without any further ado, let's hop right into the analysis. So here we have it, the news that is causing Tilray so much volatility right now. We see that Tilray and Afria merger closes and creates the world's biggest weed company by revenue. A few things to point out from this article. You can see that Erwin Simon, Afria CEO, is going to step in as the new CEO of Tilray. A lot of the executive leadership from Afria is going to take over. That's a good thing for the stock. Afria has been known to have better leadership in the past. So this is a positive. And the other thing I'd like to point out right here, the company is expected to be well positioned to capitalize on any change in U.S. cannabis laws. Afria is bringing in Sweetwater to the table. Meanwhile, Tilray has already had Manitoba Harvest. So these are two companies that are already somewhat well positioned in the U.S. markets. And once full federal legalization happens, Tilray and Avria being the size that they are, they're going to have a good shot at establishing themselves as, a top competitor in the US cannabis space. However, all this positive news, yet the stock is still down 7%. So why is that? Well, this is a phenomenon commonly known in the stock market as buying the rumor, selling the news. So here we have it. When a positive news event comes out and the price rises, entering on that positive news release can potentially be the worst time to enter the market. The fact of the matter is that people knew this was coming for a long time. People had that April 30th date circled on their calendar, knowing that that's the new Tilray vote. And if Tilray approves the merger, which it looked poised to do, the merger would become official. And as a result of that, this has been priced into the stock, throughout time. And we saw, last week with a pretty tremendous rise that people were doing this in anticipation of the merger. And now when the merger actually comes, people want to secure some profits. They got in low, they saw the little initial pop, and they took their profits and ran. It's very, very normal. For newer traders, unfortunately, the best way to learn is through experience. It's learning the hard way. And if that was what happened today, it's unfortunate, but it is a learning experience. But now we're going to take a look at the chart if you are still in it or if you're looking to enter and see what we can expect next. So here we have the daily chart for Tilray starting the day off here and having that initial jump up on the positive news. And then, like I said, the sell off takes place and it just continues throughout the entire morning. Pretty brutal sell off here, but then we finally start to bottom out in the range of this 1690 support zone and 1730 resistance zone. Really, if you took a position somewhere in this range, you should be sitting pretty fine playing on the bounce up that we should be expecting to see tomorrow. Looking at the indicators, we do see a lot of bearish momentum in the stock after having a pretty brutal day. This yellow line here is the VWAP, the volume weighted average price. And as we can see, Tilray closed below the VWAP. That means the bears are in control heading into tomorrow's trading session. However, once again, take this with a grain of salt, knowing that, Tilray did just have a massive sell off on positive news and that we should be expecting a bounce up tomorrow. I would not be surprised to see tomorrow Tilray goes above the VWAP and stays above VWAP all day. The other indicator I'd like to take a look at, we'll keep it short, but just right here, this is my intermediate level moving average. This is the 21-day EMA. We can see Tilray is below it and lost ground throughout the day. That means we are looking bearish in the intermediate term. But once again, you have to factor in the unique situation that Tilray is in right now, just announcing a huge merger that is going to change the company outlook forever and seeing that sell off. So, like I said, we can expect a bounce up. And, if things start to flow really well tomorrow, we could actually start to test this EMA right here and some other moving averages and start to reclaim bullish territory. Aside from that, let's just take a look at the key support and resistance levels so we know what levels to look out for. On the supports, you want to use these levels to potentially scale into positions, open up positions. You're risking off very little for very much upside. And the main support you're going to want to see hold tomorrow is this 1694 range. If you can buy in as close to this range as possible, that is ideal. This has been a historical support or resistance level for Tilray for a very long time. We could see that play out today. It was holding very strongly throughout the day. It closed above it. And so this is what we want to hold. After that, we do have support at 1642 and 1569. If we do start to test these levels, the stock outlook becomes a lot more bearish. I do want you to keep that in mind. However, if you do believe in the long-term outlook of the stock and you do see the stock starting to hit either of these levels, it's something that you want to keep in mind. And if you are interested in opening a position long-term, this is exactly where you want to buy. But with that being said, let's look at the resistance. I think, tomorrow's trading session, when we do get that bounce up, I think we are much more likely to have these levels in play. The first one we need to get over is the 1730 range. We kind of struggled with that today. We never even really got to retest it all that much, but I do expect that to be the first test that we face tomorrow morning. After that, 1790, another kind of big historical resistance zone for Tilray. We get above that, we're going to test 1840 and then 1885. And kind of get back to those levels we were at last week when people were starting to price in this merger. Let me know whether you agree with my analysis, disagree, whether you are long on the stock and believe we will get that bounce up, or whether you think there is more trouble ahead. If you like this video, make sure to leave a thumbs up. And if you want to see more content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Aside from that, have a great rest of your night.